Welcome to Across Africa, our weekly look at stories from across the continent. I'm Georgia Calvin-Smith, and this week, the financial freeze on Mali brought in by regional group ECOWAS has hit its economy hard. Key sectors like the cotton industry have been struggling to overcome the impact of the trade penalties. Also, as the excitement of the Africa Cup of Nations winds down, we head to two-time hosts of the tournament, Gabon, where once gleaming stadiums have fallen into disrepair as of hopes of making the most of the country's footballing infrastructure. And a Malawian musician has found runaway fame on TikTok at 92. The attention has reinvigorated his popularity and even led to a one-on-one birthday dinner with the president. But first, the sanctions imposed on Mali last month because its junta failed to organise elections promised for February have hit hard. The economic penalties have strangled key sectors like the cotton trade.
Mahamadou Konate is a cotton farmer in western Mali. He expects a good harvest, yet he is worried. Growing the white gold is only half the battle. He still has to find a way to export it. But since the West African bloc, ECOWAS, imposed a trade embargo and shut borders with Mali over its military ruler's grip on power, the cotton sector is struggling.
Sanctions cause us a lot of difficulties because only 2% of the cotton is processed in Mali. The rest is exported abroad. If they sanction us, how will we sell our cotton?
Thousands of Malian cotton farmers like Mahamadou are sounding the alarm. The government buys all their cotton through the Malian Company for Textile Development. The firm controls the sector, from processing to overseas distribution.
If CMDT's reserves were to run out without us being paid, it would be a disaster.
Cotton is Mali's second export after gold and a key source of foreign exchange.
There are more than 400 billion CFA francs circulating in the cotton sector in a very good season.
This planting cycle is projected to produce 82,000 tonnes, compared to only 147,000 tonnes during the last one. Lured in by high prices set by the state, more producers turn to white gold. Meanwhile, the sanctions continue. The farmers now hope the gamble will pay off.
More than 100,000 children in Western Kenya have now received a new malaria vaccine as part of a 2019 pilot program. The shot was approved for broader use by the WHO in October, but has been in the making for 30 years. Researchers say it's already producing tangible results. Laurent Berstecker has more.
Lucy Akini's children used to get sick with malaria so often she had to take them to the clinic 3 times a month. But since getting their vaccine, they haven't tested positive once, enough to convince Lucy's sister to follow suit.
Lucy brought her children here when they were having problems with malaria. Now they never have any issues anymore, so I brought my child to get vaccinated as well.
The world's first malaria vaccine was rolled out in Kenya in 2019 as part of a pilot program and has since been approved for broad use by the World Health Organization. Healthcare workers say it's made a real difference in the fight against the disease.
We have seen a reduction on the cases of malaria, and even the children who get malaria, it's not severe.
A leading expert on malaria, Dr. Simon Kakiruki, says the vaccine is safe to use and that it could help reduce infections by 40% in at-risk regions. He believes it to be a real game changer, not only for healthcare, but also to help alleviate the financial burdens of malaria.
They will not have to spend money going to the health facilities. They'll not have to spend money buying drugs. They'll not have to spend money attending funerals and taking care of diseased children.
One of the leading causes of death in many developing countries, malaria still kills over 600,000 people each year, most of them in sub-Saharan Africa.
Now, Senegal's national football team was awarded cash and land by President Macky Sall for their victory at the Africa Cup of Nations. The triumphant squad was feted at the presidential palace and appointed to the prestigious Order of the Lion. They were also given about 76,000 euros each and plots in Dakar and the city of Diamniadio. The win was Senegal's first after 50 years of trying and has reinvigorated the love of the game in the country. Now, the tournament was hosted by Cameroon this year. Former hosts have sometimes been left with white elephants and stadiums that see little use once the euphoria of AFCON is over. In two-time hosts Gabon, many AFCON sites are today in a pretty bad way, as our correspondents investigate.
The Sino-Gabonese Friendship Stadium in Libreville is on the verge of collapse. It's been abandoned for 4 years now and equipment has fallen into disrepair.
It was beautiful to see. Look how it looks today.
Belek is in total shock when he visits the stadium. The sports journalist has not been to this 40,000 capacity site since the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. Built just 10 years ago, the stadium was supposed to be a major addition to the country's sports infrastructure. Instead, a few months ago, it was being used as a COVID-19 test center.
It was a place that inspired a certain pride. There were journalists from all over the world. And when they were there, Gabon was valued. Today, when I come back and see that, it's sad.
A few kilometers away, the largest and one of the oldest of the country's stadiums has also fallen on hard times. Even though the government invested nearly 100 billion CFA francs, about 154 million euros into its renovation, the Omar Bongo Stadium has never been refurbished. Local youth now use the abandoned infrastructure for amateur football matches. But just like the maintenance works at the stadium, the Gabonese National Championship has been stalled for 2 years now. Gabon has hosted the African Cup of Nations twice over the last decade. Football fans had hoped to see more progress for the sport.
When we have something historic like this, we must be able to fight to rehabilitate it, because it's the history of several generations. It's the history of Gabon, it's the history of Gabonese football. What is the logic today behind building infrastructure that are not used for domestic competitions? The Minister of Sports should fix it.
Gabon spent over 700 billion CFA francs for the organization of 2 African Nations Cups in 2012 and 2017. However, the lack of local championships has paralyzed the country's stadiums and football. Gabon Sports Minister did not respond to our request for comments.
Many Cameroonians are resentful over a new tax on electronic money transactions which went into effect at the start of the year. It's been met with stiff resistance and dubbed regressive by critics. Our correspondent sent us this report.
Bonjour.
Every week, Christian comes to this mobile money operator in Douala. This time, the transaction will cost him 0.2% more than usual, but he has no choice.
It's the only way for us to be fast and efficient. I feel penalized by this new tax, of course. Every time there's a CFA franc added on, it's another penalty.
Only about a third of Cameroonians are believed to have bank accounts, and mobile money is hugely popular as mobile phone use rises. Even so, the number of electronic transactions has already dropped sharply since the new law was brought into force on the 1st of January.
I used to make 50,000 in commissions. Now I get half of that. It's really gone down. People don't do transactions like they used to. Even people who come to do transactions of 100,000 ask me how much it costs, and I say 2,000. They say it's too expensive.
The government is hoping the controversial new tax will give a quick boost to state coffers. It's expected to rake in around 20 billion CFA francs a year, a little over 30 million euros.
Cameroon is technically under structural adjustment, and the state does not have enough resources to meet its needs, especially to repay its debts. This is an easy option.
The charge has sparked a backlash. Critics say the government is penalizing the poorest and is slowing down financial inclusion and the development of a digital economy in a country where the internet penetration rate stood at 34% in 2021.
Bonjour, madame.
This organization is recommending that a tax be levied directly on telecommunications companies.
What we're suggesting is that this tax be paid by the telephone operators. It's not their core business. They're supposed to bring internet and phone services.
The new law applies to all electronic money transactions, but exempts bank transfers and transfers for the payment of other taxes, duties, and levies. According to the Bank of Central African States, electronic money transactions registered in Cameroon in 2020 stood at over 12.1 trillion francs CFA.
Well, at the age of 92, a Malawian musician has found fame on TikTok. Gides Chalamanda has been inundated with offers of collaborations, and though he's not a follower of the platform, it's brought him a raft of new fans from around the world. Berstaka has more.
Gides Chalamanda is not on social media and doesn't even own a smartphone. But that didn't stop the Malawian musician from becoming a TikTok sensation. At 92 years old, Chalamanda says he's enjoying every bit of his newfound celebrity.
Ndiponso ndikamayimba anthu amasangalala nazo ndipo amavina kwambiri ndipo kundifupanso makobiri kokoni kuposa salary.
In the fall of 2020, Chalamanda recorded a reggae version of his song Linihu, which he'd written 20 years prior as an homage to his daughter. The song was an immediate hit on YouTube and even more so on TikTok, where it quickly became viral and has been viewed over 80 million times. Now Chalamanda can't go outside without being recognized, and his young fans often feel inspired by the 92-year-old's energy and wisdom.
I like Chalamanda's music because he's an old guy, and obviously he knows a lot more to life. So, like, he shares his life experiences and a lot of sensible things in his songs.
Over the past few months, Chalamanda has received dozens of offers for concerts and was even invited to dinner by Malawi's president. But the musician has yet to receive any royalties or compensation for his viral social media videos.
Well, that's it for Across Africa for now. Thanks for joining us, and do so again if you can. Take care.